I'm actually I'm trying stuff on LinkedIn right now because again, just one of those things I recognize about Facebook is a fun place, but I also feel like Facebook really feels like it's kind of rigged against you. Like it's like going to a casino, and like knowing that. See, I kind of feel like this is how I feel like it's strictly on the business model. When I go to Vegas, I'm expecting to lose my ass. I really am expecting to lose my ass. I'm just a smart enough man to realize that if I do somehow happen to win, I just run. Like I don't even try to like don't play. No, I'm out. Done. One of my favorite I was in Windsor where I am right now. The casino when it was open. I go with my grandmother and my dad. My grandmother gives me $20. I win like 200 in like a minute. Like literally 1 minute. I go to the slot. I hit it. I'm done. I just know it. I'm just.
Did you walk away?
Yeah, I walk right away. I don't keep no. See, no, I'm not. No. See, now my grandmother goes to me. Go play a couple more rounds. It's like okay, fine. Tell you what, cash it in. Took $40. Played it. I lasted a long time on one of the rounds. That adds. I'm done. I'm like no more. No mas. For me, the one I get in trouble when is poker. Poker's where I get in trouble. Poker's where I get in trouble because I'm aggressive. I'm very aggressive in poker, and
all in.
No, I don't. No. You don't. No. I start smart. Like what you do. Like it's probabilities, but the thing is, when your stacks get to a certain point, you play differently. And you have to somewhat too, because what happens is when you're like when you got the most stacks, you can bully people a little bit because you have the money. So yeah, right. So the biggest part of poker is you're playing. A lot of times the game is about not getting to the flop. If you can knock players, like especially in Hold'em, this is Texas Hold'em, the whole goal in Hold'em is right, especially when there's 8 people. You're looking at the odds. Let's say you get okay, pocket aces is the best hand in pre-flop. It's the best hand. So what you want to do is because you have the best hand and you know it. You want to knock out as many people as you can before you get to the flop. Because if you do that, you've increased your odds of winning. Because the moment the flop hits, you've added more variables. This is the whole science this is the science side of the gambling. Every time you do something, you're conveying information to your opponents. So what happens? So sometimes you can't always play good hands because then you become very predictable. And at that point, then it's about figuring out you have to play bad hands too. But the real trick is your job through the whole game is predicated on one thing. A lot of the game is decided at the pre-flop, where if you can get people to lead the game, you're already winning. You're already winning, right? Now, that's really that's a real secret to Hold'em is. So what happens to happen with me is I'll play really well at first, and then I'll get a big chip lead. Sooner or later, I get the chip lead, and then I get really aggressive to my undoing. Right, that's my undoing. Right, and this is understanding. And the reason is now I have like an edge, and now I'm just trying to push everybody out. That's what I'm trying to do. You're trying to be the last one standing at your table, or you want to become such a big chip leader, you go to a bigger table. One or the other, depending on where you're at in the casino. Right? So that's the game. That's the game in a nutshell, right? If you understand that, you understand, like, this is all theoretical. When you're actually playing and there's real money on the line, there's also a lot of other like pressures or stresses, anxieties, all that stuff. Right? But that's the whole secret to the game, right? Is you put yourself, if you can get yourself in a position where let's say even if you don't have the best hand, if you play it, and this is where the betting is really interesting, is you can tell the people around you that you have the best hand by how you bet, right? There are ways of doing that. And when you do that, you can sometimes knock people with better hands than you out, right? Right. That's the whole. This is game theory again. Right? That's game theory, right?
I'm not a poker but I know there's a lot of people that love it. Like that's their.
But that's where the lot of strategy is. literally right before it falls. Because once the cards are on the table, okay, say I have like, okay, the worst nightmare is pocket jacks, because it's good enough that you can't just throw it away, but it's just bad enough that a lot of hands can beat it. Right?
Okay, so that's 2 jacks then, right?
Yeah, it's 2 jacks, right? Yeah, 2 jacks. Because again, jack's pretty strong, but queens beat it, kings beat it, aces beat it. It's the hand you look at that's like, this can get busted. Like this can get like, royally, it can get busted. It's like, yeah, 2 pairs, the worst hand for you. Yeah. So it's like, it's literally, it's like, oh my God, because you're like, it's too good to just throw away, but it's just bad enough where you're just like, I hate myself just a little bit. If I
don't even know, like that's when you're really playing on the line, right?
Yeah.
Right, because then you're like, I don't even know. This guy could have 3 queens and beat you.
Yeah.
And right.
And especially like when let's say the flop. Okay, so let's say like the flop, like the first 3 cards in the thing. There's like a queen, a 10, and like an 8.
Okay.
You got 2 jacks. Now you got possible straight. You got a possible straight that comes up. It's also possible someone's got those queens, right? There's like someone's got those queens. So now you're like, oh God. And so they flip another card, and then then the game can completely change. Like, and by that point you've knocked out. Let's say there's 8 players. It's 2 or 3 players. So it's like that's where the game gets really, really intricate and tight. And that's when, again, that's where betting can come in. And then you can try to knock somebody out. But there's a point too when you're so committed to that particular game because of the money you've put in, you can't back out either. It gets really like that's where again say. Yeah, that's true. But there are limits, Joe. Like sometimes the smart move is to get out. Like sometimes you just recognize. Sometimes the smart move is just to get out. Yeah, right. Sometimes the smart move is to get out. Sometimes, right? Not playing scared, just like because you know that person's going like this, fishing and sucking you in. It's a very fine line. It's a very, very fine line, and you gotta recognize when it is. Like, and that's, that's like I said. So, like for me, this is why I don't play poker in Vegas, because I'd be in trouble. I would be in trouble, and I know it because I'm not as good as I think I am, and I'm smart enough to know that.
Yeah, well, you know what though? I mean, why not be smart about like that? Oh,
it's true. It's the hands you fold. Sometimes a bad, and here's the cool thing about poker. Sometimes a bad hand is actually a great hand. One poker night, I kept 4s. I just kept 4s all night. I would win with like 3 4s or 4 4s. I actually got 4 of a kind of 4s, and just like, so with 4 of a kind of 4, it was that kind of night. So I just had it. Screw it, I'll play it. What like you just know, you just have one of those feelings and gut things, right? So, and when you get to that point, it's just sometimes bad hands are good hands, but that's.
But you have to know when to hold them and when to fold them.
Right? Something like that. Yeah. I'm sorry, we went down the poker rabbit hole there for a second.
Just like I would never know. I would never know. I would have no.
I think someone like you would get good at that because you seem like the kind of person that would study. There's a lot of actual like.
Oh yeah, you gotta like read people's movements and their eyes and shit like that, and I don't know.
There's that, but not just that, but there's also just the you seem like the type of person that when you get into anything, that you actually try to look up as much as you can and study up as much as you can. You seem like somebody that maybe it may not be quite your comfort zone, but I think you probably would do surprisingly well if you prepped. It's just one of those things where it's just like, I'd be afraid because you'd be like, this is my first time. People would be like, ha, but you know all the numbers and probabilities and you can make decisions just based on that. And you can go pretty far. There are fundamentals that I think you can't control luck, but you can control a lot of other things. And it's like,
yeah, I don't know. Well, you got me pinned on. I'm a researcher. Like I nerd out on a bunch of shit that people are like, why? Like, why?
Yeah, well, that's it. But it's what you do because you're you're organized. You have to be. Like, you have incredible discipline, because I know this as a freelancer. It takes incredible discipline to be one, right? It's. I have said this multiple times on my show. It's a mindset. It really, really is a mindset.
100%,
It takes
Josh.
yeah.
Yes.
And you have to recognize, like, I do have a job right now as an quote unquote essential, whatever the hell that is. But the thing about this, that's not my job anymore. It's not, like, it's there to help me get some extra money. It's not my job. You know what my job is? My job is every day. Yeah, every day I am interviewing somebody amazing like yourself. I am pitching.
Yes, exactly.
Every day. I took a break from it because I'm trying to figure this show out. I figured the show out now. I'm pitching again. First pitch, I scored, because it was just like, again.
Oh, so awesome. I'm so happy for you. That's